Let us pray. Divine Creator, source and mystery of life, as we look out at a sea of caps and gowns, we join in the long academic tradition of those who have been formed by centers of learning across time. We give you thanks for these graduates who've been shaped by the culture of Hendrix College. Rooted in the support of parents, families, friends, and visionaries, these students have integrated their diverse Hendrix experiences to become whole persons. from orientation trips to late-night study sessions, from public forums and mills to singing carols in Green Chapel, in the labs and on the courts, working hard and playing hard, they've been nurtured in the deep, rich ground of the Hendrix community. We give thanks for the faculty and staff who have cultivated these graduates. They've inspired and challenged them, nourished them to be creative as they've gleaned knowledge from the disciplines of the liberal arts. They have challenged students to be inclusive, to broaden their self-understanding, and to see things from another point of view. And they have encouraged them to seek out justice, to speak up, and to point out wrongs of our society and the growing edges of our community. May these mentoring relationships thrive long after this day is complete. As we of the Hendrix community have watched over them, we pray that our graduates may prosper as they contribute to the world in ways that will sustain our earth, that will care for fellow human beings, and will bring your creation into abundant life. May their joy be complete as we continue to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2018. Amen. Please be seated.
Good morning. Welcome on this happy day. We are here to celebrate and recognize the members of the class of 2018. Congratulations to you all. During your years at Hendrix, you have worked long and hard. You have grown and matured. You have made lifelong friends and memories. You have tested your limits and done things you never imagined you would or could do. You have most likely pulled an all-nighter or two, danced in the brick pit in a white shirt and your skivvies, completely rethought your major, your career plans, and the meaning of life, and you have had a huge impact on each other, on this community, and on this institution. Of course, between birthday cakes and the calf and Monday night chapel services, early morning practices and foam parties, Tuesday talks and Sunday Thursdays, you have also gotten a broad and rigorous liberal arts education in and beyond the classroom that will stay with you and shape you long after you have left this campus. Well done. You have richly earned the funny hats and medieval robes and other bits of festive bling you are wearing, as well as the fancy pieces of paper with funny Gothic script and my John Hancock on them that you will soon receive. Whether you feel ready for it or not, your next big adventure lies just around the corner. Now, even though we are here to celebrate you, taking lots of pictures to clog up social media and sharing plenty of hugs and high fives and chest bumps and mortarboard tosses and maybe even a tear or two, I've got to be honest with you. You didn't do it alone. And there are lots of folks here who deserve some of the reflected glory from your successes. First of all, the families of our graduates today. Can I please ask all the parents and guardians, grandparents, great-grandparents, and siblings, and any other hangers-on who wish to take credit to please stand? You have had a huge impact on these exceptional and accomplished young people. You have written checks for them, which we greatly appreciate, slipped them 20s on the way out the door, and paid their car insurance bills. You overcame the urge to change the locks on the house when they left for freshman year. You did laundry, baked cookies, shared their triumphs and challenges by cell phone, text, and tweet, cheered them on, occasionally kicked them you-know-where, and have always, always been there for them. We thank you. Now let me ask members of the Hendrix faculty and staff to stand. You too deserve hearty pats on the back today for jobs well done. Some of you helped recruit today's graduates to campus way back when they were in high school. Some of you met them for the first time in a classroom in August of 2014. Many of you coached them and fed them and cleaned up after them. You taught them cell biology and sociology and Chinese and printmaking. You worked with them to write more persuasively, argue more cogently, think more reflectively, and serve more wholeheartedly. You helped make them better people. All of you cared for them much as you would care for your own children, cheering them on and occasionally kicking them you know where. We thank you as well. To the members of the class of 2018, enjoy this day. Allow yourselves to wallow a little bit in the feeling of accomplishment. Getting a Hendrix degree is for real, so be proud. Goodness knows we're all proud of you. As we send you out today to begin your life's next chapter, know that we will miss you here and that you left a mark on this place and on the people who remain behind. Know too that Hendrix will always be with you, no matter where your individual paths may lead. The community instilled here, our tradition of excellence, and our collective commitment to engagement and service are now as much a part of you as you are forever a part of us. And remember that even as we today kick you out of the nest and on to fresh challenges and new opportunities for growth, that Hendrix and our cherished bubble will still be here for you, that we expect to see you back often, and that this campus and this community of learners and teachers and dreamers and doers will always be your home. Congratulations. Now, let me introduce Mr. Albert Braunfish, a 1986 graduate of Hendrix and chair of the Hendrix Board of Trustees, who will bring you greetings.
President Tsutsui, Provost Bonewright, faculty members, families and friends, and most importantly, this great class of Hendrix 2018, good morning and welcome. As a member of the Hendrix class of 1986, I'm honored to say a few words of congratulations and encouragement on behalf of the board. But before I do, I want to recognize some of the other board members who are present this morning. Kim Evans and her husband Harold are here to watch their daughter Katie graduate. David Fleming and his wife Carla Hefty, Bill Smith, class of 63, Vic Nixon, class of 62, Pamela Estes and her friend Becky Dugan, Chuck Chappell, class of 64, thank you each for being here today. So congratulations, Hendrix graduates. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Hendrix graduates. Today, you're officially part of the latest chapter in the history of Hendrix College. Now, you had a unique opportunity to begin your college experience alongside a new Hendrix president. So with President Tsutsui, your classmates, your faculty, and the staff mentors, you've helped move Hendrix forward. So on behalf of the board, thank you for all the ways, large and small, that you've contributed to this very special community. Now, if I know Hendrix, and some of these faculty members were here when I was here, I know it wasn't easy. It took a lot of hard work. You had to take risks. You were challenged and inspired. And you probably felt a little discouraged and disappointed occasionally along the way. But you learned from success and from failure, and you grew as a result. So as you pass this finish line today and begin this next chapter of your life, you'll continue to learn and to grow with the talent and tools you've developed here at Hendrix. So whether you're off to graduate school or starting your first job of your career, you'll take part of Hendrix with you. And I can assure you it's worth holding on to. It's made a big difference in my life, just as I expect it will in yours. So as you encounter new opportunities and confront new challenges, I hope that your appreciation and fond memories of Hendrix will grow just as mine have. But today, as Dr. Tsutsui said, take a moment and be proud of what you've accomplished. Your family is proud of you, so are your professors and your mentors, and so are the Hendrix trustees. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, congratulations to each of you, and Godspeed. I'd now like to introduce Provost Bonewright.
On behalf of the faculty of Hendrix College, it is my pleasure to welcome the members of the class of 2018 this morning and to congratulate you on reaching this very important milestone. Today, we celebrate what you have accomplished over the past 4 years and what you will do as Hendrix graduates to make the world a better place in the years to come. Your Hendrix friends will be your friends for life, and that includes the faculty. So stay in touch with them. You are the best reflection of their hard work. Their support doesn't end today. They never get tired of bragging about you, so please make sure you stay in touch and give them some new material to do so from time to time. So wherever you may be, we hope that you keep the Hendrix community with you and come back often. However you define success, we know you will continue to achieve it. And whatever brings you joy, we hope that you will always find it. As the class of 2018 makes the transition from students to alumni this morning, 2 Hendrix faculty members make a noteworthy transition from teaching and scholarship to retirement. Dr. Karen Griebling, professor of music, retired at the end of this spring semester. She taught composition, theory, counterpoint, orchestration, and viola, and conducted the Hendrix Chamber Orchestra since arriving at Hendrix in the fall of 1987. She is also a violist with the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra and with the Conway-based Crosstown Trio. Dr. Jay McDaniel, the Willis H. Holmes Distinguished Professor of Religious Studies and Director of the Marshall T. Steele Center for the Study of Religion and Philosophy, will retire this coming December. Since 1979, he has taught courses at Hendrix addressing contemporary Christian theology, process philosophy and theology, Buddhist thought, Chinese culture and philosophy, interreligious dialogue, mysticism, meditation and prayer, and the relationship between religion and ecology. We appreciate the many contributions these faculty members have made during their career, and we wish them well on their next adventure. Please join me in thanking them for their many years of service.
Thank you to the Hendrix College Choir and Dr. Andrew Morgan. We now come to the conferral of the degree of Doctor Humane Letters on Ms. Joe Luck. It gives me great pleasure at this time to ask Albert Braunfish to return to the lectern to introduce our honorary degree recipient.
Good morning again. It is my sincere pleasure to introduce this year's honorary degree recipient, a most deserving individual. Joe Luck is no stranger to Hendrix College. A Hendrix alumna and proud mother of 2 Hendrix alumni, she was the 2003 Hendrix Commencement speaker, and in 2004 received the first ever Odyssey Medal for service to the world. Ms. Luck left teaching for another form of public service, working for Arkansas governors Dale Bumpers, David Pryor, Frank White, and Bill Clinton. She was a member of Governor Clinton's state cabinet, serving as director of the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism for 10 years. And from state government, she broadened her reach and the impact of her work by joining Heifer International. She was named president and CEO in 1992 and led the anti-hunger non-governmental organization until her retirement in 2011. Under her leadership, Heifer International grew from $7 million to $130 million in annual income, providing sustainable development assistance and dignity to millions of farmers and families in developing countries and in the United States. Now, if you haven't visited Heifer's headquarters in Little Rock, I encourage you to do so. Its role in combating world hunger is absolutely inspiring, and her contribution to the organization's mission was essential. Ms. Luck received an international honor considered by world leaders to be the Nobel Prize for Food and Agriculture when she was named World Food Prize Laureate in 2010. And to this day, she continues to champion global food security issues and the empowerment of women in developing countries. With a life's work that embodies and exemplifies the Hendrix motto, unto the whole person, I truly can't imagine a more appropriate recipient of this honor. Now, she's asked me to let you know also that due to some of her travels, she has contracted something that has required her to have several surgeries on her eyes, so she'll be looking at some note cards, but it is a price of someone who continues to travel the world and what she's been doing around the world for us. So please join me in welcoming Ms. Joe Luck.
Hendrix College's mission is summarized in its motto, found in Paul's letter to the Ephesians and translated from the Greek as unto the whole person. At its most expansive, wholeness is a quality that is both inner and other directed, implying not just the realization of an individual personality, but a deep connection to others. Joe Luck represents the ideal of the whole person in its fullest expression.
With the authority given to me by the trustees of Hendrix College, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, and in recognition of your life of accomplishment and service, I hereby confer upon you, Joe Luck, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations. Joe, it is a pleasure to present you with your diploma and your hood. We invite you to make acceptance remarks.
Thank you so much. Well, Chairman Albert was kind enough to tell you that I've had these surgeries, so I don't see very well today, and I can't speak very well because I'm sick, but you know what? Everything else is terrific. So I just wanted to say that so you'd understand and focus on the message and not on the one that has some disabilities today trying to deliver it. First of all, I'd like to borrow a little bit from my great-granddaughter, who's about 3 years old, and say, thank you with all of my heart for this great honor, this distinguished honor. I'd like to thank both Dr. Susui, the president of the college, of course. I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees, the committee that makes the selections for the honorary degree, and the faculty. And to the graduating class, thank you for allowing me to share just a small part of your very special day. It'll always be special for me as well, and I'll feel like I'm part of your class. I'm deeply humbled by this recognition, and it has caused me to review and reflect on the many years of my work, and your recognition has saluted and held up that kind of work here at home and abroad, all around the world. I've looked at my commitment again and sort of renewed my vows of commitment to helping others help themselves, move from hunger and suffering to that personal dignity they so richly deserve, that everyone so richly deserves. And when I'm visiting in their area, they're so generous that they will offer anything they have to make you feel at home, the hospitality and the graciousness in the midst of hunger. I'm reminded of some other experiences as I reflect on these times. When I was in Cambodia visiting the village, and they wanted to show me how well they were doing with their animals, with the goats, particularly in this case. And I think if you know heifer, you know we provide the animals and the resources and the training so that those in need can take charge of their lives and have their source of income and nutrition for their families. But more importantly, they pass on that healthy female's offspring to someone else who's completed the training and done their part to prepare for this animal. They all work together in the community as a team, and therefore the beneficiary that received the goat turns around and becomes a great donor, whether they're a Rockefeller or a Kennedy or a Warren Buffett or a Gates. They have become a donor, and not only are they a donor, they've just given away half of their wealth to someone else. I received my degree about 55 years ago. Bill Smith has already brought that up, so I couldn't lie. And of course, Albert had to name all those honors, and you can't get those honors unless you've been around many years. And it's okay, I'm going to remind you that your degree is not for the short term. You better think long term, because after all, I've been using that valuable degree as my education foundation for all that I've done that's opened the door for all these opportunities for 55 years, and I'm still ticking. Might be a little slower, but I am still ticking. So you better think long term as you go out there and approach this new world, and you're going to make it better for all of us, and I'm counting on that and looking forward to it. I wanted to share with you, although I had worked for 50 full years, and when you're a mother and a wife, a teacher, and then a CEO, and interesting enough, I moved from classroom teacher to president and CEO of an international organization with staff in over 38 countries. I came back from the executive committee meeting in Kansas City where I accepted that powerful, wonderful, humbling position, just like this is a humbling day for me. And I turned around and said, what have I done? I've got to meet payroll for people in 38 countries every 2 weeks, and I don't even have anything to sell. I've got hope that I can offer, and I want to bring them in and get them involved. But that was a pretty daunting reality. But for the last 35 years, here's where you may go. You never know where you go. You may have tomorrow planned. You may have the next week planned. Many of you have next month. I bet you got next year planned. But you have no idea what's ahead. I can tell you that right now. The opportunities are unbelievable, and that degree is going to be your ticket to open the door to these opportunities. So stay open to those, not only thinking long-term, but staying open to the possibilities. In the last 35 years, I have traveled to over 65 countries. I have slept on dirt floors next to about 12 inches from someone else on a mat with their family, nursing the baby at 3 in the morning, getting up to milk the goats, doing all their life chores, and I've been in that hut right next to them, lying there, living their life with them and feeling what they're feeling and getting to know them well. I have gone without bathing for several weeks, or excuse me, several days. My son used to think that was a good excuse for him, but I said no. He was not working in the developing world. I prayed that none of the malaria-carrying mosquitoes would penetrate my bed netting and get to me in the night. I was shot at in Sniper Alley in Sarajevo, wearing that heavy flak jacket, which almost brought me to my knees, and running for cover. I stayed in a remote village for a week on the side of an active volcano in Java. And that volcano wiped out that village just a few years ago, which was very sad for me to know. But I'm glad I'd been a part of their lives for a while and that they had had better lives before we lost them. I've survived a massive earthquake in Chiang Mai in Thailand. In fact, the only high-rise building was the one hotel then that they had that was like 3 stories. And they were filming Air America. You asked your mother, maybe your father, maybe your grandparents about Air America. It's an old film, but the stars were in the hotel, the filming staff, there were lots of others there that were visiting. Well, in the middle of the night, we had this terrible earthquake. Everyone got up, packed up, checked out, left because they were in this high-rise building and they were nervous about it. I was thrown out of bed, went to the window, saw what was happening, it stopped, and I got in bed and went to sleep. And the reason for that is because Niwacha and Promote that day had told me that for the next 5 days I was going to sleep in one room with the chief and his top 6 councilmen. We were going to meet, eat, and sleep in the same room. So I wasn't sure how much sleep I was going to get, so I really wanted to rest up while I was in the hotel. When I came downstairs the next morning to check out, many of the villagers had gathered, and they had heard about this woman that is so brave, the only one that stayed in the hotel. Little did they know I was just getting some sleep that I needed. So you never know what's going to happen each day, and promise me you don't. It will be new every day, but be open to those opportunities. I've been searched at checkpoints throughout Africa, Asia, and Latin America. And some of the colleague gentlemen I traveled with loved to pull out their sense of humor with me. And they would say, oh, Joe Luck, this next checkpoint, oh, yeah, that's going to be a strip search. Yeah, I see. Oh, no, no, that's not going to be a strip search. Oh, yeah, they've got their guns and everything. I said, well, they're going to have to shoot me. We're not going to have it. I have eaten snake of all kinds, yak cheese, beetles, guinea pig up in the highlands of Peru. I have eaten fried goat's blood in the 110 degrees in the deserts in a little building with a tin roof with an audience watching their leader and me eat this very, very fine special food for this special occasion. If they just hadn't told me it was goat's blood, it would have been good. And I finished it, and I was so proud, and I smiled and drank my warm orange soda they'd given me, and then learned that was just the first course. So you always do these things with a gracious smile and a thank you to your host, because they are giving you your finest. They're sharing with you their best. And sometimes in some of the villages, the families would come together, bring their little modest utensils and their food in order to make a lovely meal. Such hospitality and graciousness in the midst of poverty and suffering, it moved me every time. All these major challenges and slight inconveniences faded away when I would turn to those people and look in their faces and see the newfound hope and joy that they had because they knew their lives were getting better. Because after all, in my work, I helped them help themselves with their resources. That's what we all did as a team. That's what you will do. You will help others, not a handout. You will help them with a hand up to give them the opportunity to own and take charge of their lives and improve them. And then they will do it always. Don't tell them what to do. Let them decide what to do and support them and help them in every way possible. To the graduates today, I again congratulate you. You've gotten your degree. Check. That's a big step. Next, though, I challenge you. In the next 24 hours, write down your core values. Who are you? What are you? Much like Hendrix has the core values, which you're very familiar with. Companies, government, all nonprofits, everyone, groups, people, families, they should have their core values and stick to them. And problems today is because people have moved away from those core values. So write them down. I challenge you to really write them down. It's something when you have to put it on paper. And the second thing, write down what is important to you. Career, family, fame, power, maybe helping with the environment, changing the penal system. I don't know what it might be, but write down what's important to you. Good health. I hope you'll include that. We all need that. But think about what's important as well, and write it down now. It won't take you long, but it'll be a wonderful thing for you to stop and do as you begin. This is an old cliche. This is the first day of the rest of your life, but it's a very true one. Before you make any decisions then in life, you pull that paper out and look at it, and you make sure you're moving toward what's important, not away from it, when you make that decision. And you make sure you do not compromise your core values. They are you, they are who you are and what you believe in. And stick to those, and it will pay off in the long run, even if it's difficult in the short term. I wanted to tell you that when I was in Cambodia visiting, and asked the farmer, how do you pick the first 6 families that get these goats when everyone's in need? And the head farmer said to me, well, you know, they have to complete their training and build the housing and plant the fodder and prepare, and then they have to have the num chai. And then I said, whoa, wait a minute. What is num chai? Through the interpreter, and he had to sort of work with it. He said, in English, the best interpretation I can come up with is that it means living waters in the heart. Well, for me, that translates in my mind to compassion. And so from then on, every time I ever interviewed anyone for a job, whatever the position would be, besides the requirements that were listed, I also wanted to make sure they had num chai, because that was important. So let me tell you, you are prepared for life with that degree, that diploma under your arm. You're going to remember your core values and not compromise. You're ready to think long term. You're ready to look ahead with what's important and always move in that direction. And now that makes you a whole self, which is what Hendrix is about, and it's what helped you do as you were here, was pull that whole self together. So please, be all that you can be, and be kind. And let me thank you again with all of my hearts for this wonderful honor today. I'll try to live up to it and make you proud for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe, for those inspiring comments. Now, you all may think you've already heard me talk enough this morning, but that was just the teaser. This is the main event, the much-feared graduation speech. You may have seen some clips of fabled commencement talks on TV or on YouTube. Steve Jobs, J.K. Rowling, Oprah, Kermit the Frog. And we have had some fantastic addresses from this podium the past few years. But if you have been around the academic world as long as I have, and I'm sure this goes for the faculty as well, you'll know a good many graduation speeches are just dreadful and immediately forgettable. far from uplifting and eternally inspiring. And in my experience, the more elevated the title of the speaker, the honorable, judge, senator, president, the more likely that the comments are to be a coma-inducing dud. So I don't blame you for being a bit apprehensive with me back before the microphone. Now, some of you may have assumed that I am the graduation speaker this morning because our first few choices canceled at the last moment, or because budget cuts meant we couldn't afford the Dalai Lama or Ellen or anyone we would all really want to hear. But the truth is that I wanted to speak this morning because the class of 2018 is my class. The class I arrived with 4 short years ago, the class whose experience of discovery and learning at Hendrix paralleled my own. So I exerted presidential privilege to ensure that your last college lecture would come from me. But lest you think you can pop in your earbuds for the next 20 minutes or so, I will warn you, there may be a pop quiz as you cross the stage to pick up your diplomas. Now, as surprising as it may seem, I have not had that many chances to speak to you collectively over the past 4 years. There was new student convocation in this very spot, though neither I nor you were dressed quite as fancy that afternoon. Perhaps an honors convo or two, the senior dinner a couple nights ago. Some of you may never hear me speak again. For many of you, the next time you hear me talk may well be at an alumni event or a barbecue tour stop in a Methodist church hall somewhere in Arkansas, in which case I will be plying you with the latest Hendrix propaganda and buttering you up for donations. Today, I can speak to you more frankly, without the patina of obsequiousness and hype and nostalgia that I save for addressing those with disposable incomes and steady employment. You will be there one of those days, but you get a pass this morning. Over these past 4 years, we've been through a lot together. When we all gathered here for the first time on that August afternoon in 2014, we were all green. Fresh to Hendrix, juiced on the adrenaline of a new place, new faces, and endless possibilities, anxiously balanced between eager anticipation and morbid dread of the unknown, cool and collected on the outside, but scared utterly you-know-what-less inside. 4 years on, you are older and wiser. I too am older, as evidenced by my increasingly plentiful gray hair, a few strands of which are due to you all. And I am arguably wiser as well. Some of you may have different hairstyles or hair colors. You may have grown in height a bit or added some muscle. You may have tattoos or piercings. I think we all may have added a few pounds from eating at the calf. Even though we have learned a lot, grown a lot, experienced a lot, and come to know each other and this place over the past 4 years, as we gather again today, I suspect I am not the only person in this room still scared a little you-know-what-less inside. As I look forward, I am confronted with the daunting prospect of a Hendrix campus without you all. Without the people and personalities and friendships that have in so many ways defined my time here. And you, of course, stand on the brink of what is generally called the real world, an exhilarating and intimidating array of activities, a new job, a graduate program, another internship, a gap year, travel, adventure, fresh challenges, nagging uncertainties that will take you far beyond our irregular little polygon bordered by Winfield, Washington, Harkrider, and Spruce. That real world before you is filled with tremendous opportunities, but a shady, protective bubble it ain't. Happily, You are all now much better prepared for life and career and independence than you were when we first gathered here, and you sat on those same folding chairs in t-shirts and flip-flops, shorts and sundresses. 4 years have passed so quickly, but we have changed so much, both in ways that are obvious and in ways that we may only fully appreciate in decades to come. I have learned from you and enjoyed getting to know you, but above all, I have cherished seeing you grow in knowledge and in accomplishments, in confidence and in leadership, in self-awareness and in character. We've been through a lot together. I was there when you and your families pulled up in front of the dorms on move-in day. Marjorie and I went on our first orientation trip with you all to Petit Jean. I was there for Shirt Tails in 2014. I was there when you first took the field or the court or whatever you do with a pool or a track as warriors, cheering you on. When you went on to win championships, I whooped and beat my chest and wore the rings you so generously shared with me. When you lost, I loudly blamed the refs in the stands. I was there when you began classes and when you declared your major, when you started working in a lab and won Odyssey funding, when you got your organic chem grade and changed your major. When you won awards in Model UN or mock trial, were elected to Senate, completed your capstone, took and retook your GREs, presented at a conference, and celebrated being a member of the first class ever of Murphy Scholars. I was not there, however, for even a single Miss Hendrix, or for any event with roast, foam, or toga in its title, as there are some things I am happier not to know. And over the past 4 years, you were there for me. When I dressed up in what I can assure you was a very itchy wig as Ivan. When I made a spectacle of myself annually at Wiener Day or calf theme lunches. Anybody remember Captain Stubing? That was your freshman year. When I ran my first 5K on alumni weekend. When I polka'd in public for the first and last time at Waltz Night. When about 10 of you joined me to walk Kiba around the village on my Snowzilla day. When I planked for 6 minutes with a cardio and core class in the Fawcett Hall conference room. When I hit level 40 on Pokemon Go. When I showed George Takei the Henry Sugimoto painting in the Mills Center and managed as a lifelong Trekkie not to humiliate myself by geeking out too badly. And we shared some memorable moments here, some happy and some less so, but all milestones for us and for Hendrix. The solar eclipse in the brick pit, the presidential election of 2016, the loss of our friend and teacher, Dr. Jennings, the retirement of so many beloved faculty and staff members, and the hiring of such amazing new ones. The bittersweet demolitions of the Rainey Building and Hewlin Hall. The transformation of campus into a cat colony. The appearance of gargantuan opossums and raccoons around and in the dormitories. Kayaking in front of Bailey Library. I could, of course, go on, as could each of you. Thank you for making those memories here, and thank you for letting me be a part of them. Now, I could end right at this point, leaving you all in a sentimental, soft-focus haze of shared recollections, but this is a graduation speech after all, so some weighty words, nuggets of wisdom, bold gestures to the future rather than nods to the past, and a few bullet points of unsolicited advice are pretty much de rigueur in this genre, so I do not want to disappoint any of you on this once-in-a-lifetime occasion. I expect that some of you assumed I would talk with you today about Godzilla, And believe me, I could, as that big radioactive lizard has plenty of life lessons, but I will not. Because I would like to take this opportunity to encourage you to buy my book, Godzilla on My Mind, 50 Years of the King of Monsters. I would note that it makes a lovely graduation gift and is available in the college bookstore. Seriously, though, I've thought long and hard over the past few months about what meaningful message I wanted to offer you in this last moment we're sharing together at Hendrix. I wish I had an inspiring personal story to impart of overcoming adversity, of battling injustice, of pulling myself up heroically by my bootstraps, but I do not. I grew up in economic comfort, in a stable and loving family, with well-educated parents, 3 doctorates between the 2 of them, who always encouraged and supported me. I have no physical disabilities other than a tin ear, very limited athletic skills, and the need for thick eyeglasses. I have faced some stereotyping and prejudice because of my Asian heritage, but none of my family were interned during World War II. And honestly, as a Japanese American, my biggest traumas growing up were getting an 89 on a math exam and not being able to play the violin. I was able to attend private schools and private universities and entered one of the few remaining professions in America as a college professor, which holds out the promise of lifetime employment. My mother and father both had very different experiences than I did. They both grew up in economic deprivation, were first-generation college students, and had to struggle and scrape for all they achieved, which was a lot. But they dedicated themselves to making sure I had everything I needed to succeed in school and in life. I have, in short, enjoyed a life of privilege. To those of us who have privilege, it often seems invisible, inevitable, or even natural, cloaked by the elaborate structures of meritocracy our society has erected, or explained away as good fortune, or somehow sanctified as divine grace. I'm often reminded of the political barb directed at George H.W. Bush in a long-ago election campaign, that he was a guy who was born on third base, but lived his whole life thinking he'd hit a triple. Privilege is so woven into our culture, indeed into all cultures, and is so profoundly internalized by us all, that those with and those without its benefits, that it can be hard to recognize, even when it is immediately before us. It would be so convenient if all those with privilege drove Teslas, wore Rolexes all the time, just happened to be blonde, tall men with perfect gleaming teeth, or were named Bush and had multiple middle names. But acknowledging and understanding privilege can often be a confounding task. About 10 years ago, when I was Associate Dean at the University of Kansas, I saw an appointment pop up on my calendar one day. I was scheduled to meet with the Emir of Machina. Now, I have heard of emperors and kings and dukes, and even shaken the exalted hands of a couple princes and princesses, but I have never met an honest-to-God emir. So this was pretty exciting, and I immediately went to Wikipedia to find out where Machina was at. Turns out that Machina is a small region in the northern part of Nigeria. So I invited the director of our Center for African Studies to come in and prep me for the meeting and tell me about the emir. I asked the director, who was a native Nigerian, to tell me what an emir does, what role he plays in the government and in society. The director said, the emir has a magnificent palace. Cool, I replied, but what does he do? The director sat up very straight in his chair and stated with a sense of authority, the emir has 40 horses. Again, cool, I said. But what does he do? The director leaned into me and in a hushed voice, heavy with meaning, told me simply, 20 of the horses are white. And that was all I got from him, no matter how many times I asked the question or how I rephrased it. So based on this somewhat surreal experience, I decided to do more research. I called up one of my colleagues, a professor who was from Nigeria and whose father is the only Nigerian Nobel laureate, who I felt pretty confident would be able to help me out. So I said to her, Omafalabo, I met with the center director. I asked about the emir. I heard about the big palace and the 40 horses and the fact that 20 of those horses are white, but I still don't know what being emir actually means. Omafalabo paused for a few moments, thinking deeply, I imagined, about my question and preparing to part the clouds for me on the social elites and political realities of Nigeria. You know, Bill, she finally said, 20 is not that many white horses. And that was all I got from her as well. If even understanding the complex cultural codes of privilege can be hard at times, acknowledging and addressing privilege is even harder. In her book, Uneasy Street, The Anxieties of Affluence, the sociologist Rachel Sherman studied the top 2% in New York City, revealing those privileged individuals to be profoundly conscious of and deeply uncomfortable with their wealth and social status, eager to avoid conspicuous displays of luxury, and prone to describe themselves euphemistically as comfortable or fortunate. Remarkably, though, even such undeniably rich New Yorkers saw themselves as relatively underprivileged, and somehow part of the broad American middle class because they lacked the extravagant resources and did not lead the glamorous lifestyles of the top 1%. More sobering yet might be the insights provided by the research of social psychologist Paul Piff, whose work demonstrates how deeply rooted our notions of hierarchy are, and how easily people can embrace and naturalize profound inequality. I encourage you to go online, not now but later, put your cell phones down, and watch the TED Talk on his experiment involving a rigged game of Monopoly, which shows in cringe-inducing detail how increasing privilege tends to make people less empathetic and less compassionate, more entitled and more moralistic about their own success. Most of you did not come to Hendrix with the privilege I enjoyed growing up. And many of you have had to confront and to overcome substantial challenges to make it to college, to come to a school as good as Hendrix, and to be graduating here today. Some of you are the first in your families to pursue higher education. Some of you are from towns and neighborhoods and high schools where attending college is not the norm. Some of you have had to struggle with health issues, with self-doubt and anxiety about the future, with roadblocks and potholes and detours beyond your control all along the way. And of course, almost all of you and your families have worried and made sacrifices and sweated it out to finance your educations. But you did it, perhaps against all the odds, and you may even have surprised yourself with your strength and your grit and your resilience and your accomplishments. You have worked long and hard to get to this day and to earn those two letters, B and A, that seem so little on paper but loom so large in life. And you chose not to do it the easy way. If you would wanted an easy degree, you would not have come to Hendrix. So you can be proud and should be proud, and I am proud of you all. But, and you knew there was a but coming, I have to be frank with you. None of you may feel terribly privileged at this moment, but you should. The moment you step up on this stage, shake my hand, and take what is still curiously called a sheepskin, although I think I can guarantee you that your diploma is completely sheep-free, you will join the ranks of the privileged. No matter what your background, no matter how much you have in your checking account, no matter what demographic boxes you check, no matter how much you overcame to reach this stage, having a college education, and especially having a degree from an institution as strong as Hendrix, sets you apart. The statistics tell the story. With a BA degree, you will, on average, earn between 1/3 and 1/2 more over the course of your working careers than those without college degrees. You will be more likely to get married and less likely to get divorced. You will likely be happier with life in general and more satisfied in your jobs. You will be more likely to exercise and less likely to be obese, smoke, and have high blood pressure or diabetes. And once you take hold of that non-sheepskin and update your resumes with BA 2018, science says your life expectancy will be 6 to 7 years longer than someone without that college diploma. In some grand metaphorical sense, you all now have 40 horses, and an impressive number of them are white. But let me encourage you, in those long, healthy, and happy lives ahead of you, don't deny the privilege that is now yours, but acknowledge it, use it, and share it. Education, and especially liberal arts education, is meant to be a public good, not a private one. So don't be selfish with the education or the privileges you have received. Don't wallow in feeling disadvantaged because a few others may have more, but focus your gifts, your smarts, your training, your determination, your passion on reaching out to those who have less. Buck the statistics and be more compassionate, less entitled, more kind, more generous of spirit. Make your privilege a force for justice and empowerment, humanity and heart, service, and the greater good. I would like to end more or less where I started. Not with Kermit the Frog, but with something important we shared during our years together at Hendrix. Among the almost countless words produced on this campus over the time since we arrived, term papers and exam essays, journal articles and Odyssey proposals, emails and text messages, memoranda and minutes of meetings, 57 words stand out to me as being unusually significant, with a life beyond your tenure on campus and most likely beyond mine as well. Those 57 words, written in the spring of 2015, are the college's new statement of purpose. Hendrix College cultivates empathy, creativity, self-understanding, rigorous inquiry, informed deliberation, and active learning across the liberal arts toward the development of the whole person. Through engagement that links the classroom with the world and a commitment to diversity, inclusion, justice, and sustainable living, the Hendrix community inspires students to lead lives of accomplishment, integrity, service, and joy. Looking out at you and knowing you, I think the college has done a pretty good job meeting those ideals, at least for this year. Be joyful today, and continue to be joyful as you go out into the world from here. And remember that joy, like privilege, is not a finite resource, not something to be hoarded and reserved, but a blessing and a gift that must be shared. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
We will now proceed with the conferring of degrees. First, I do want to give a word about photography. Members of the audience who wish to take personal photographs or make videos of a degree candidate as he or she receives a diploma may approach the east end of the stage at a time shortly before the name of the student is called. We ask that all photographers from the audience limit themselves to one person per degree candidate. Members of our staff are there to help direct traffic, and a professional photographer will take a photo of each graduate and at a later date make commemorative pictures available. Will the candidates for the Master of Arts in Accounting please rise? Dr. Tsutsui, in consideration of the fact that the members of the Master of Arts in Accounting class of 2018, now before you, have completed all the requirements as prescribed by the college or will soon complete them, the faculty presents them to you and recommends that you confer upon each of them who has completed the requirements the degree of Master of Arts in Accounting.
Members of the Masters of Arts in Accounting class of 2018, upon the recommendation of the faculty and through the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Hendrix College, I hereby confer upon each of you who has completed the requirements the degree of Master of Arts in Accounting with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Haley Michelle Bodie. Stephen Tyler Crenshaw. Wa Nok Dam in absentia. Gregory Peter Kelly III. Jared Tyrone Lincoln. Hugh Chung Win. Julia Bertina Secor. Aaron Robert Steele. Elizabeth Janelle Stoltz. And Taylor Lee Tibbetts in absentia. We will now proceed, as soon as my microphone comes on, we will now proceed with the conferring of bachelor's degrees. Will the members of the baccalaureate class of 2018 please rise? President Tsutsui, in consideration of the fact that the members of the class of 2018, now before you, have completed all the requirements as prescribed by the college or will soon complete them, the faculty presents them to you and recommends that you confer upon each of them who has completed the requirements the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Members of the class of 2018, upon the recommendation of the faculty and through the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Hendrix College, I hereby confer upon each of you who has completed the requirements the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Would all the bachelor degree candidates please sit except for the first row? Helena Abad, graduating with distinction. Thomas Daniel Adamo. Jessica Renee Adkins. Thomas Malden Alexander. Iyad Alhalak, cum laude. Anushe Tarab Ali. Noah Andrew Ambos. Braxton Fisher Anderson, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Catherine Jasmine Arestando. Rachel Brenna Arp, graduating with distinction. Ethne Moran Ascraft. Mina Ayub. William Guy Berry, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction in 2 majors. Deva Lee Deepak Barney, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Ellie Catherine Black, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Marin Ray Bollinger. Catherine Leela Bolt. Kevin Philip Bombinski. Benjamin Kent Border, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Connor James Breen. Garrett Wellington Brown. In absentia. Ivan Burrell II, graduating with distinction. Daniel Levi Bushcool, cum laude, in absentia. Mara Jane Campbell, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Brianna Michelle Carlisle. Emma Jane Carlson, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Madeline Smith Carlson, graduating with distinction. Christopher Abbott Carver. Andrew Burke Cash, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Brandon Christopher Cathy. Kieran Chekhov, graduating with distinction. Hannah Michelle Christensen, graduating with distinction. James Taylor Clark III. Dalton Chiwaki Clement. Raul Alberto Contreras. Callista Zori Corwin, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction in 2 majors. Rachel Marie Christ. Sean Michael James Criswell. Amy Catherine Crump, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Reva Jean Callanan, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Edward William Curran, graduating with distinction. Kaylee Cheyenne Davis, graduating with distinction. Alexandria Danielle Dergazarian. Zoe I. Dilly. Shen Jingxing Ding. Miranda Joy Donachie, graduating with distinction. Nathaniel Martin Luther Dran, cum laude. Elizabeth Carol Draper, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Sarah Marie Dislin, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Brian C. Earls. Maraklin Ebijoildas, graduating with distinction. Bailey Catherine Egan. Brian Joseph Epstein, in absentia. Catherine Gray Evans. Skylar Ann Ferguson. Madison Drew Fires, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Brianne Forms, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Riley Elizabeth Frazier. Logan Malone French. Claire Marie Fruoff. Emma L. Gaither, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Abigail Hope Gamfer, graduating with distinction. William Gage Gardner, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Dylan Michelle Gilbreth. Christina Lynn Glasschroeder. Ellen Marie Gatelli, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Ava Zan Graves, graduating with distinction. Amy Nicole Green. Daniel Liam Habenicht, cum laude, graduating with distinction. John Peter Hablitz, in absentia. Lillian Alida Hammer, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Liam Hankins Hull. Alec Fletcher Harris, in absentia. Graham James Harris, cum laude. Remington Dexter Harris. Madison Marie Haskins, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Reagan Marie Hatwig, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Casey Troy Hawkins. Alicia Anwar Hemani. Devin Eric Henderson. Shelby Nicole Hill. Nathan Paul Hodap. Parker Kendall Hogan. Anna Catherine Holmes, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Yuli Huang, cum laude, graduating with distinction. John Wilson Hooker. C.D. Wong. Krista K. Huber. Jessica Lynn Hunter, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Megan Rochelle Hunter, magna cum laude. Eric M. Wynn, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Aphrodis Imanishimwe, graduating with distinction. Tahiyya Islam. Vanessa Nicole Yazo. Judson Jones. Drew Thomas Judson. Jolly Koo, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Veronica J. Kinoshita, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Carolina May Kirksey. Travis William Kish. Alexandra Valeria Kish, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Michael Anthony Kramer. Alexis Ann Crone. Megan Nicole Kujawa. Jonathan Quee, graduating with distinction. Austin Tyler Lacey. Sydney Lyric Lacey. Angela Beth Lamb. Brandon Thomas Ledding, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Catherine Elizabeth Lee. Christian Thomas Lenzer. Christian Renee Lewis, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Erica Christine Levy, graduating with distinction. Matthew Thomas Lillard. Samuel Lewis Lockhart, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Trevor Ross Lowe, graduating with distinction. Sarah Nicole Logan, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Lauren Long. Benjamin Grant Ludke. Lucille Tennyson McCash, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Rory J. McNichol. Karis Madison. Rebecca Joyce Mader, magna cum laude. Morgan Anna Maida. Colin Martell, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Madison Nanette Martin. William Jesse Matheson, graduating with distinction. Jordan Joseph May, graduating with distinction. Nicholas Catorda Maynard. Hannah E. McCarthy, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Ryan Patrick McGregor, graduating with distinction. Ivy Fallon McGrew, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Mary Joanne Meek. Reed Baylock Mershon, graduating with distinction. Mason Sawyer Millsap. Lucy Abigail Moore. Colton Benjamin Morgan, in absentia. Kathleen Elizabeth Mowry, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Robert Nathan Myers. Merci Jean Bosco Desmaillet, graduating with distinction. Jacob Aaron Neely, cum laude. Cade Isaiah Nelson, cum laude, in absentia. Yasmin Lachey Newman. Tina Wynn. Sarah Jeanette Neiman, graduating with distinction. Jacqueline Lee Oakley. Sean Richard O'Brien. Patricia McLeod Omalo. Robert Hayes Osborne. Neil Lewis Parsons. Annika Patterson. Holly Ann Peterson, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Lauren Elizabeth Peterson, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Isabel Rose Pfeffer. Lena Pham, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Kui Pham, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Shamara Latrice Pittman. Lauren Faye Powers. Kendall Bailey Price. Heather Robin Prowse, cum laude. Lexus Leanne Rainey, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction in 2 majors. Jordan Ariana Rausch. Alexandra Raymond Schmidt, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction in absentia. Sparrow Sabrina Richards. John Patrick Rindall, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Evan Gabriel Rivera. Eric Lee Roberts. Molly Catherine Robinson, cum laude. Danielle Renee Rosson, cum laude. Brady L. Ryan. Aaron Salter. Nicole Elizabeth Sanders. Christina Marie Santner, graduating with distinction. Georgi Nicholas Sarishvili. Kendra Lee Schwartz. Christy Lynn Scott. Emily Joy Seminara, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction in 2 majors. Madison May Sire, cum laude. Imran H. Shaw. Anna Borishina Sharabura, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Dylan Keith Shelton. Elizabeth Storr Shepherd, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Mark Taylor Shepherd. Christopher Chandler Shirer. Madison Ray Sipes. Heather Ruth Smith. Caitlin Victoria Smith. Cody William Smith. In absentia. Leah Joanne Smith, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Tejas Nahil Soman. Joy Elizabeth Spence, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Reed Hamilton Spivey, graduating with distinction. Victoria Lynn Spradley, graduating with distinction. Arlo S. Walker Stebbing. Kelsey Virginia Brazil Stamack, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Emily Taylor Stone, graduating with distinction. Kyle David Strege. Sam Collins Strubing. Yunong Soon. Hannah K. Tackett, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction in 2 majors. Caroline Jillian Tagg. Wenyu Tong. David Kenneth Tate, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Nathan Ty Taylor, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Kimberly A. Tapera. Ella Grace Thompson, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Grace Alexandra Thomason, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Mariana LaVey Tomachek, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Lakin Amanda Thompson. Deanna Charlene Thornton. Zachary Abel Torres. Paul Ryan Tumanello, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Claire Elizabeth Turkle, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Adam Christopher Turner. Jake Elliott Turner, in absentia. Bridget Kelly Umbel. Carissa Marie Varga, graduating with distinction. John Thompson Vion, graduating with distinction. Andrew Joseph Versnell, in absentia. Christian Alexander Joaquim. Sarah Faith Walker, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction in 2 majors. Bailey Ann Wallace. Isho Wang, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Delaney Grace Wells, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Kathleen Ann Wendover, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. Brooke Frances Whitaker. Stephen Jacob Wiegand. Robert Michael Williams, graduating with distinction. Peter Matthew Wills, cum laude, graduating with distinction. Conrad Michael Witkowski, graduating with distinction. Yael Jacobi. Yuchen Ye. Bridget Lauren Yelk. Yawaim, in absentia. Layla Zaidi, magna cum laude, graduating with distinction. And last but not least, Benjamin K. Zamzo. So Dr. Morgan will now lead us in the alma mater.
Good morning. Please rise for the singing of the alma mater. The wind ensemble will play a short introduction, after which we will sing together. Hendrix College, we will love thee through the years to come, as we love thee now today, while our hearts are young. Kindly is thy spirit always, friendship and good cheer. Make the Hendrix College to us alma mater be.
And now may the creative spirit be at work within you to do far more than you dare ask or imagine. And may the courage of your convictions move you to speak out against injustice and act for community. May the compassion of your heart compel you to reach across the aisle and to bridge divides. And may the constancy of God's peace sustain you in the carefree and the careworn moments of life. Amen.
Of
For the recessional, I would ask that the platform party, the faculty, and the graduates stay standing when the recessional music begins and recess as instructed by the college marshals. Audience members, if you would please take a seat and stay seated until the last graduate leaves the area, we would appreciate that. We also invite you to a reception immediately following the recessional in the Young Wise Memorial Stadium Plaza behind this building. Thank you and congratulations.